Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous Discovery. This is the series where I head on out into the galaxy to find the unusual, the spectacular and the beautiful. On today's episode I explore some of the darkest locations in the galaxy, from the interior of a black nebula to thousands of light years below the galaxy itself. Space is unquestionably an extremely dark place, yet much of our time spent within Elite Dangerous is in brighter locations such as near stars or down on planetary surfaces illuminated by nearby nebula or else by the galactic core. But look at that galaxy core here, it's extremely dim, and that's due to the fact that it's largely occluded by the darkness of the nebula I'm currently within. Now, if you've never visited a nebula, or if you've never visited a nebula quite as dark as this one, then the Coalsack Nebula is actually very close to human inhabited space, not too much over 1000 light years, and it's a perfect location if you want to visit extremely dark planetary surfaces. We all know at this point that planetary surfaces tend to light up around the dark side when you get a bit close to them, and that's due to usual ambient light. Places such as the galaxy core or other nearby stellar objects can all cause a bit of illumination to the planetary surfaces and otherwise cause it to brighten up. But when you're away from the galaxy core, this can either be on a planetary surface directly pointing away from that, or especially when you're in an area as dark and remote as this one, then everything looks very, very dark. So dark in fact that without the use of your ship lights or the lights on your SRV, then you'd have extreme difficulty in finding your way around. Now, it's not just dark planetary surfaces that are very nice around here, it's also the brilliance of the night sky. In fact, that's going to be a bit of a common theme throughout this video. It's how the skybox, how the starfield changes as you move from location to location. Right here then, just look how bright all the stars are. So yes, a truly stunning location. And ultimately, the only thing that would make this a lot better would be the ability to come down here and discover things on the surface of planets. Now, whilst we can of course pick up various materials, it's not quite the same as exploration and discovery, and that is my biggest hope for Chapter 4 of Beyond, which of course should be having a massive focus on an exploration update, as well as some new planetary surface tech. Now, the Coalsack Nebula isn't the only place that's very dark. There are many other places out there, one of which is the Formidine Rift, a mysterious area of space located beyond the Perseus arm of the galaxy where stars begin to thin out. In fact, if you come out here with a non-engineered jump drive, it's quite likely you won't be able to travel at the full length and width of the Formidine Rift. A problem I had myself. I came out here a number of years ago with a ship with a jump range much lower than 30 light years. But it's a very interesting location and worth the trip. From here, the galaxy looks very, very different. 10,000 light years from home, and in many places it can be extremely dark. Fortunately, of course, we're always lit by the central star in any system, but beyond that, it's the starfield, the sky itself, which can look very, very different. But let's now move across the other side of the galaxy, not quite as far as Beagle Point, but getting very, very close, past Sagittarius A, and on the way towards the far galactic rim. Here, the galaxy looks very, very different yet again. The central core begins to recede into the distance, starting to fade, and here the stars are perhaps thinner even than in the Formidine Rift. For me, it's locations like this which bring a bit of variety to exploration. And of course, with the new planetary tech that arrived in Chapter 1 of Beyond, there's some nice new surfaces to locate. And out here, nearly 30,000 light years away from home, I find one such location. Situated pretty close to the central star here, this planet has some great contrast. And it's not until we get down closer to the planetary surface that we see how that contrast affects the craters. The lighting here brings out all the craters and hills in a stunning relief, and I can only imagine what this will look like when Chapter 4 arrives with the new lighting system. This is precisely the sort of place I can spend an age flying around. They're actually quite hard to locate, although with the recent updates there's now many more of them than there once was. For now, at least, these aren't chance encounters, but if at some point we get tools to help us find such planets, then such discoveries are going to become far more accessible. And that can only be a good thing, whether you're an experienced explorer or whether you're taking your first steps out here into the depths of space. Now, people often ask what graphics mods I use. I often use a graphics mod called EDFX, but on this occasion, for the majority of this video, and right here in fact, I'm not using any mods at all. These are the vanilla graphics, what you get at default. Now, away from the outer rims of the galaxy and back towards the galactic core. Not quite far enough to reach Sagittarius A just yet, but we're moving down, many thousands of light years below the galaxy itself. And here, in the sky, you can almost see it starless. Yet behind us remain all the stars in existence of the Milky Way galaxy. This then is a location that is at once extremely bright and very, very dark, depending on your location. Get around the dark side of a planet whilst facing the galaxy and it will illuminate up so bright that it's perhaps one of the brightest places within the entire galaxy. But position your ship so that the darkness of space is above you, and it's a very, very different story indeed. There are many great locations to explore within Elite Dangerous. The only problem is that the distances to get to them are so vast. It's a huge undertaking, and this is perhaps one of the primary reasons that many people never get to see places like this. And yet for me, exploration has provided many of the most memorable experiences I've had within the game. Whether it's exploring out here on my own or on the occasion with friends, or whether it was in expeditions such as the amazing Distant Worlds, there's been a whole ton of great locations and experiences to be had out here. If you've never explored, or if you've never had the opportunity to explore, then I highly recommend you sign up for Distant Worlds 2, the largest expedition ever to be undertaken within Elite Dangerous. That's going to be taking place towards the end of this year. Take a look in the video description below. I'll leave there all the details you actually need. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.